Hello everyone, welcome back to DIY with Ashley. Today we're making a simple quilted pot holder. It's a fun way to use fabric scraps, and these are perfect for the holidays. They also make great gifts, and they're perfect for setting hot plates or mugs on. So let's get started. Here are the supplies you'll need to make about 4 pot holders. You can find most of these supplies in my Amazon storefront, which is linked in the description box below. A half a yard of cotton fabric, a half a yard of fusible fleece. For this project, I'm using the Pellon TP971F Fusible Thermolam Plus, which is the regular fleece. You can also use the Pellon 975 Insul-Fleece, which is the heat-resistant option, but it does contain metallic fibers, so you can't put it in the microwave. And I don't trust myself to not make that mistake, so I'm using the regular fusible fleece. You'll also need a rotary cutter or fabric shears, an acrylic ruler and a self-healing cutting mat, sewing pins or sewing clips, an iron and an ironing board, a disappearing fabric marker or a washable one. We're going to use this to mark the quilting lines, a hem guide. This is optional, however, if you have a walking foot, you can use it when we quilt. You'll also need coordinating thread and a sewing machine. And you'll also need a corner turner for this project. If you don't have one, you could use a chopstick or a knitting needle to push out the corners. Now that we have our supplies, let's cut out our pattern pieces. Cut out 2 9x9-inch fabric squares from your cotton fabric. Then you'll cut 2 9x9 squares of fusible fleece. Then you'll cut a small strip that is 1.5 inches by 4.5 inches. This will be used to create the pot holder loop. Now that all our pattern pieces are cut out, we're going to fuse our fleece to the cotton fabric. Place the glue side to the wrong side of the cotton fabric. Then, following the manufacturer's instructions, using their recommended heat and timing, press lightly on the edges and baste the fleece to the cotton fabric. Once you've got it basted, you can go ahead and press the rest of your piece. Repeat this step for your other fabric square. Now that we have our fleece fused to our pot holder, we're going to go ahead and put these 2 pieces to the side and start working on the loop. To create the loop, you're going to go ahead and take your piece and flip it so that the wrong side is facing up. Then, using your iron, fold it in half lengthwise and press. Now open up your strip and fold each of the raw edges towards that center crease you just created and press each of those sides. Make sure you avoid putting your iron on that center crease because we don't want it to go away. This process is similar to making bias tape, so once we have the sides pressed, we're going to go ahead and fold everything in towards the center. And then we're going to go ahead and use our iron to press everything flat. To finish off our loop, we're going to go ahead and top stitch 1/8 of an inch away from each side. Now that our loop is finished, we're going to go ahead and place it on our pot holder. To start, we're going to go ahead and take one of our pot holder sides and fold it in half to find the center. Once you've found the center point, you can go ahead and use your disappearing pen, or you can use a sewing pin to mark the center. Next, place the raw ends of the loop on each side of the mark, pointing the loop down towards the middle. Using your pins, you want to pin the loop in place and make sure that it doesn't twist as you attach it. Now that our loop is secured, we're going to go ahead and place the 2 fabric squares right sides together and pin around the entire edge. I've also made sure to mark my 3-inch opening where I'll be turning the pot holder right side out. Now it's time to take our pot holder to our machine and sew using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And don't forget to backstitch at the start and end to secure your seams. Now that we're done sewing our pot holder, we're going to go ahead and clip the corners before we turn it right side out. Using the 3-inch opening that we left, go ahead and turn your pot holder right side out through the opening. Once your pot holder is turned right side out, you can use a corner turner or a chopstick to gently push out all 4 corners. To prepare the pot holder for top stitching, we're going to go ahead and press it one more time to get everything nice and flat. Before I start sewing, I'm going to go ahead and use my disappearing pen to mark a 1/4 inch away from the edge, and I'm also going to mark all of my quilting lines. The quilting lines will be approximately 1 inch apart. If you are a quilter or just want to go ahead and try some fun designs, you are absolutely free to do so. I just opted not to for my pot holder. Using my walking foot, I'm going to top stitch a 1/4 inch away from the edge all the way around. This closes the opening and secures all the layers. Also, don't forget to backstitch when you start and stop. Now that your pot holder is top stitched all the way around, it's time to begin our quilting lines. If you've opted not to do quilting, then this is your last step and you're done with your pot holder. To begin your quilting lines, start from the top stitch line and do a small back stitch. Then continue all the way down to the other top stitch line and back stitch there as well. Once you get to the bottom, you can either sew over your top stitch line to the point where you begin your other quilting line, or you can cut your thread here and just start a new line. It's totally up to you. And that's it, your quilted pot holder is finished. As I mentioned at the beginning of the tutorial, if you use half a yard, you can make about 4 of these pot holders. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is a free way to support my channel and help the channel grow. And if you make a pot holder using my tutorial, please make sure you tag me at DIY with Ashley so that I can see your creations. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy sewing!